How do you know when things are ready to harvest? So I thought I would bring you along and show you what I'm getting and how I know that it's ready to pick.
What makes your garden grow? Water and sunshine. What makes your spirit grow? Knowing that she'll be mine.
Good morning, friends. I am headed out to the garden to do some harvesting. I came out first thing to, walk the garden like I always do, and just took note of there were several things that I needed to harvest. And then Jack told me that we have a chance of rain later today. I really hope it does rain. And I thought, well, I better come out here and get what I need to get before it does that. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to harvest. And someone asked in one of our last videos to share how do you know when things are ready to harvest. So I thought I would bring you along and show you what I'm getting and how I know that it's ready to pick. So we're going to start with our bell peppers. I believe I actually have a few that I can go ahead and pick. So what you're looking for with bell peppers is you are looking for a smooth, fleshy appearance, and you can actually leave these on the vine until they turn colors. These will turn red when they get really ripe. Technically, if my understanding is correct, this is still not technically ripe. This is still green, but it's also very flavorful. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple. You can actually compare it to this. You see how it's got a lot of ridges. It's still kind of has a dull appearance, plus it's really small. This one has more of a shine. It's a darker green, and it has a smooth skin. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. So I ended up having a couple of more than what I thought. So that's a really great surprise. So the next thing we're going to look at is the okra. So this year I am growing two varieties of okra. I'm growing the spineless crimson and burgundy okra, and ready to harvest when it's about the size of your thumb. You can pick it, you can let it get a little bit bigger. This is actually a really good size. It could get a little bit bigger, but these grow so fast that seriously, if I wait until tomorrow, it might be too big. As okra gets bigger, it kind of gets woody and just not very good to eat. So I saw several okra pods that I'm going to harvest, and I'm using these kitchen shears. I think I got these at either Dollar General or Dollar Tree. May have been Dollar General, but I think I paid about $1 for these. And I really like them. They do a good job. So I just cut the stems, and yeah, so I'm gonna get these in the basket. Not only do I love to eat okra in several different ways, fried, roasted, pickled, but okra also adds so much beauty to the garden. Look at that flower. Is that not gorgeous? It looks like something you would see in like Hawaii or something. They're just exquisite. Okra is in the hibiscus family. And they're just so pretty. So this is my patty pan. This is one patty pan squash plant, and it has just, it's a vine, and it is absolutely taking over this corner of the garden. I just about even can't even walk through here anymore. So I'm trying to get to this other side to harvest the rest of the okra. Now that I've got the okra harvested, which is honestly the biggest okra harvest that we've had at one time so far, so very excited about that. I did spy a scallop squash that is ready. Now these scallop squash, this is a good size. I wouldn't want that to get any bigger than this, but I have also harvested them as small as this. I'm gonna show you one that's definitely not ready. Sorry bees. These that still have blossoms on them, definitely not ready, but when the blossoms close up, then they're, or fall off, then they're ready. But I'm gonna let the other ones get a little bit bigger before I harvest them. But isn't that just gorgeous? I will do a video or two on how to prepare these, but honestly my favorite way is just sauteed in some bacon grease or ghee or butter. and with a little bit of onion, and I'm telling you what, they melt in your mouth. They are divine. I'm not going to talk about harvesting tomatoes because I feel like you're going to know. This one's still green at the top, but we'll let it finish ripening in the windowsill. Pretty little basket so far, isn't it? I see another. This one can finish harvesting in the windowsill. I've got several in my windowsill right now. But look at these. Oh, I cannot wait for these Cherokee purples to ripen. I am so excited. I keep forgetting that I have this massive basil plant that I planted between these two tomato plants. It's huge and it's hidden, so I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest a bunch of it. This is the, I mean, look at that gorgeous big leaves of basil. Big leaves of basil, and I need to harvest this. So I'm going to show you with another basil plant on how to harvest this. It's kind of hard to get in here with the tight space, but my goodness, just touching it, it smells so good. All right, yeah, it's kind of looking like a jungle through here. I've got some collards. I don't know, there's a lot of bug damage. I don't know, those might just go to the chickens, but I did see a zucchini in here. Let's see, yeah, there it is. So we're gonna go ahead and harvest this beauty. I'm growing the Cocozelle zucchini. And again, the blossom was closed up. This is a great size for zucchini. So I'm pulling it. And I did see a few squash as well. Some yellow straight neck is what I'm growing this year. I usually grow crook neck, but I wanted to try straight neck this year because I wanted to try canning it, and just seems like straight neck would be more uniform in a jar. So let's see, do I have any? Oh, there's a few zucchini over there. Look at that. That's interesting. It is hot and humid in the bluegrass, and it is, I don't even know what time it is. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. All right, I see several yellow straight neck squash we're gonna harvest. So let's get in here and get her done. Ooh, I see a big one. Look at there. Oh yeah. There we go. That's a little bit bigger than what it needs to be. This is really the perfect size for squash. Yeah, if you harvest early in the morning when the flowers are still open, there's going to be a lot of bees, which is exactly what you want to see. You just want to respect their space. Oh my goodness, my basket's getting heavy. All right, let me show you what happens if your squash does not get pollinated. This is what happens. It just becomes this big, furry, squishy mess. It just dies. Oh, hello, friend. All right, but see here, I've got a couple of down there that look good, but they're definitely not ready yet. So I'm in the corn, and I'm trying to see if I can find one that's ready to harvest, and I don't see one yet. But I'll tell you what you're looking for. All right, so what you're looking for is the silks to be all brown and shriveled up and crispy, and you can see this is definitely not ready. Even though it's turning brown, there's still a lot of light green silk, so that is nowhere ready. We've got Japanese beetles. Oh no, that's a worm. I need to get out here and spray BT. So that one actually feels, this one might be ready. This is a nice size here of corn. All right, so yeah, the corn, yes, sometimes you're gonna have some little ones at the top, but that's to be expected. But that is a beautiful peaches and cream corn. Is that gonna be your breakfast?
My breakfast?
Yeah. Just eat it raw right in the garden.
No.
Go for it.
No, I mean, I know it's good.
Yeah, it is.
We ate some raw corn yesterday.
It was baby corn though.
Yeah.
Wasn't
But no.
really ready. The silks at the top, you can see they're all brown and shriveled up, kind of crispy. There wasn't hardly any of the young, hardly of this sticking out. It was all brown and crispy. So you can also feel through the husk, you can kind of feel the kernels. And yeah, that is going to be some good eating.
All right.
So another thing with corn is you don't want to leave it on the stalk too long. You have to figure out your happy medium. What happens if they stay on the stalk too long is the kernels kind of get big and starchy and chewy, and they're just not crisp and juicy like one that you pick on time. So just about the time that you notice that silk all dried up and crispy, that's the time to get it. I know I need to weed, but I wanted to show y'all the progress of our pumpkin vines. This is my Three Sisters garden row. I've got the corn, I've got purple hull peas down here, and pinto beans down there. They've all come up, so they're going to start growing up the stalks. And then of course these pumpkin vines. This one I'm going to have, once these when the beans get a little bit taller, I'm going to start training this to go down this way, and it's going to act as a mulch, and it's going to hopefully keep this grass out. And then this one I'm going to train to go that way. So it's pretty much going to just take over this whole back part of the garden, but it's going to be awesome. These are pie pumpkins. So I ended up finding some. Yeah, so I'll show you what we're going to do with those when we bring them in. All right, so that's all I'm going to harvest out of the Freedom Garden, unless I wanted to pick some flowers, which I may do later. But yeah, oh, these zinnias, the marigolds, just gorgeous. Wait till you see what's in the Victory Garden. Okay, so first I want to show you this was cilantro, but it bolted, and now we have coriander. And I'm going to attempt to do what Stacy with Off-Grid Doug and Stacy does. Instead of trying to harvest all of these little beautiful seeds, I'm going to just take up the whole plant and hang it upside down and let it completely dry, and then just harvest from the plant when I need the coriander. So I've never done that before, but she made it look really easy. I just need to find a place in my house where I can do that. So yeah, now I have my very own coriander. Isn't that something? And I'm probably going to do the same thing with the dill. Once your dill blossoms look like this. Okay, they're these beautiful yellow flowers. But then as the flowers die off, then you kind of end up with these pods. And these pods contain your dill seeds. And so I'm thinking of doing the same thing, just taking this inside, hanging it upside down, letting it dry. Maybe even putting some little bags over these, so that way when the pods open up, they will release their seeds in the bags. I think that's how that works. But anyway, I just think dill is just so beautiful. I've actually been using them not only in my cooking, but in my flower arrangements as well. So I'm going to show you how to harvest basil first, because you're going to see that several herbs you harvest the exact same way. It's just easier to show on basil. So on your basil, you have your main stem, and then you have your little stems that shoot off the sides. And whenever you're going to harvest, what you want to look for is you want to look for a place on the stem where you have two leaves. So here you have one leaf. Then you have two little leaves here, two little leaves here, and then you have a stem growing off in between. You actually want to harvest right between those two little leaves. And here's why. Whenever you harvest, if I were to harvest this right here, then these two leaves will become stems. They will shoot off the side, creating more stems. And so you can see, let me find an example. Okay, so for example, here's where I've harvested before. There's one leaf. There were two leaves. And I clipped there, and now the two leaves that were here have become stems. So like I said, a lot of your herbs you actually harvest that way. So like the sage and the rosemary, oregano, lemon balm, all of those you harvest the same way. You'll see here in just a moment. Harvest the parsley. What I do is I harvest the outer leaves and leave like these smaller green ones in the center. And I think as long as you leave about 30% of the plant, it will continue to grow. So again, just trying to fill my pantry. I love having parsley. This is my first time growing it. I don't know why I've not grown it before today, or before this season. But anyway, this is going to become a regular in my garden. Okay, and just to show you where I cut, trying to find one. I guess I can cut this one. This one's a little more, I'll cut this one. I'm just cutting a couple of inches above the bottom. That's where I'm cutting. There's a butterfly, a beautiful butterfly. I'm hoping it lands. Oh no, it's going away. Come back. So to harvest rosemary, these tender shoots. So you see how the stem here is light green, but as it gets closer, it becomes brown, like woody. I'm gonna clip just above that, again, in between two little stems there. And just take as much as I need and then leave the rest. So I want to show you where I had cut before. This is right here where I have harvested before, and then right where I cut in between it, these two are shooting off. So this is why it's important to harvest your rosemary. If you don't harvest it, it's just going to vine out. But as you harvest and those two stems grow longer, it starts to grow up and bush out, and that's what you want. So I'm going to continue to harvest and cut as much of this back as I can, so this will be more of a bush instead of a rug. All right, so now I'm going to harvest the sage, and again, it's the same thing. You want to look for the stem that is in between two leaves and harvest there. Again, this is where I've harvested before. These were two leaves that were beside it, and now these have grown into stems. So that is what you're looking for. You just want to keep it between the two leaves. And y'all, this broadleaf sage smells so amazing. All right, so far, not a bad haul, and I'm not done yet. So let's go into the victory garden. This is what I was excited to show you. It's almost open. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I do have more basil to harvest down here, but I will look and see if there's anything else to share with you. All right, I just harvested my first of the lemon balm, and it harvests the same way as the basil. Let me show you. All right, so once again, you have, great, my air conditioner just kicked on. So once again, you have these leaves, you've got these two small leaves, and then you've got a stem growing out of that. And so I would just cut right there, and then these two small ones out beside it will become long stems. So yeah, look at that. That really has taken off just in the last few weeks. So it's beautiful, and it smells so good. This is our strawberry bed, and even though I have no strawberries to show you, I am very excited to see that a few of my strawberry plants have already started to set off runners. I am very happy that I can go ahead and start filling up this bed. Very, very excited about that. Let's see, this one's setting off runners, and then this one is setting off a runner. The one down there is setting off a runner. Very, very cool. So now we're down to the peppers. And let's see, this one is getting a little scorched, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it, even though it could get bigger. That looks good. So with banana peppers, really you want better size on that. But as you can see, they kind of start off really, really green, and then as they mature, they lighten in color. That one's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't really see any that are ready to harvest, but yeah, because you know, you've seen banana peppers, they get pretty good size, so we're just gonna leave them. My onions look gorgeous. The tops are starting to die back, so they'll be ready to harvest soon. I don't know what happened with this beet, but something has eaten the leaves and there is like poop all over it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest. Oh no, that is gonna get tossed. Throughout the peppers, I planted golden beets and Cayuga beets. I think Cayuga beets are also called candy stripe, but yeah, this one looks ready. You can see that the bulb is sticking out. I have not harvested any of the greens, and I totally should. Yeah, that's a candy stripe or a Cayuga beet. So jalapenos. Jalapenos, same thing. They start off small and dark green, and as they get bigger, they get shiny. This one is, I don't know if you can tell it, but it is loaded. I just don't see any that are big enough to harvest. Just looking for a good size. I'm gonna check the rest of these and see if I see any. Look at this zinnia, gorgeous. All right, I don't see any jalapenos that need to be picked right now. So we're just gonna leave these on and let them get bigger. I do see several cucumbers. All right, let's go get some pickles. I've got something going on my leaves over here. I'm gonna have to treat it, but look at this. So pickling cucumbers, think about the pickles that you get at the store. This is, you don't want them to get any bigger than this. As far as for pickles, if they do get bigger than this, there are other things that you can do with them. This is the size that I like. Just a little bit bigger than my thumb. That's the perfect pickle size. I definitely need to get out here and treat these leaves. I see a few more cucumbers. Whew, y'all, it is miserable. And I think I've gotten all I'm gonna get today. So let's bring this in and look at the bounty today. All right, y'all, so that is a pretty sweet little harvest, isn't it? It's probably the biggest harvest that we've had so far with this type of variety. So I am absolutely thrilled to see the garden coming in this much right now. So let me give you a quick rundown of what's gonna happen with each one of these. The zucchini and the squash I am planning to can, and yes, I will bring you guys along. This will be a first time for me, but it's just pressure canning, so it's not a big deal. And I may even do these two as well. I'm not totally sure yet. This little bit of okra I'm going to put in a Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to have these fried. Yes, we are. Love them. The cucumbers, we may eat some fresh. We may do some quick pickles with the rest of them. The bell peppers, I will probably save one for eating, and the other ones I am going to use in some canning recipes, hopefully, if I have enough. This basil right now is going to go in water because I don't have time to wash them and get them in the, and I don't have time to wash them and tie them up to dry. But yeah, I'm just going to throw them in some water to keep them nice and fresh. I am growing two different types of basil. I don't think I mentioned that. This is the mammoth basil. The smaller leaves are sweet basil. So all of the herbs are going to get put in water. So we have our lemon balm, our basil, our parsley, sage, rosemary. These are going to go in the windowsill to finish ripening. And the corn is going to go in the refrigerator to eat soon. If I wanted to freeze these, I would do one of two things. I would take them exactly as they are. I would throw them in grocery bags, double bagged, and throw them in the freezer. I have done that, and it works. It keeps it really, really well. Or you can shuck it, blanch it, and then throw them in freezer bags. But I like the lazy method because it works just as well and it's a lot less work. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do with all of these. I do want to share one more thing with you. I want to share these books with you. These are my go-to harvest books for preserving and cooking. I love this Stacy Lynn Harris Harvest Cookbook. She has got some incredible recipes in here. I will throw the Amazon affiliate link for this cookbook down in the description box if you want to check it out. I love Stacy Lynn. She's beautiful. She's sweet. And I just love her to pieces. But anyway, her recipes are so good. So good. Okay. This was sent to me by my friend Susan. The Amish Canning Cookbook, definitely a go-to, has great instructions for beginners. And yeah, it's everything from canning soups and ingredients. So definitely check that one out. I'll have that link in the description box. Y'all have heard me talk about this book many times, Preserving Food at Home. It covers everything from canning, freezing, drying, and yeah, it is a fantastic go-to. I love this book. I just got this one, and it has got it's got 400 recipes. And if it is on Amazon, I will put it in the description box below. And that is if it's also a reasonable price. But I actually got this book used on abebooks.com. I am not an affiliate with them, but I think I paid like 10 bucks for this book. So that's a great place to look. The Pickled Pantry, this is another great one. It does fermenting and things like that, and it has some really fantastic recipes in here. I got this in the Homestead box when I used to get that, and this has been a treasure. This came with my hot water bath canner, and it has a lot of great recipes in here. I love the chow chow recipe that's in this book, but yeah, this is another great go-to. This is old though. I have no idea how old it is, but yeah, that's a great one. And this one is my favorite. I have gotten this from the library several times, and then I finally just broke down and bought it. I found it, I think also on abebooks.com, but I found it used, and I paid, like, after shipping and everything, I think I paid, it was like less than $10. But this is a garden to table cookbook, and it has some incredible stuff. Let me show you. Herb pesto. It has a tomato galette, which is what or galette, I don't know how you say it. I don't know if I can find it quickly, but yeah, these are all, they look fancy, but it's something, especially if you garden. Like, here's a creamed Swiss chard and goat cheese on baked potatoes. I mean, what? That sounds incredible. So this is Bountiful by Todd Porter and Diane Koo, I think is how you say her name. I already had a shower this morning, but now I am a disgusting mess, so I'm gonna go take another one. Hope you guys enjoyed our harvesting video, and yeah, I'm gonna go shower and get ready to go to town. So until next time, guys, remember to be vigilant, be prayerful, and be prepared. Bye, guys.